Hello everybody and welcome to episode 10 of my Motorsport Manager Let's Play series. We have just finished the Munich Grand Prix in the last episode. We had a pretty decent result, I would care to say. We probably hurt ourselves by not going for the braver and bolder sponsors objective. However, you know, we did what we did, we got the result. We got some much needed points and we continue to keep ourselves away from the bottom of the table and in line with our season's expectations. However, we are getting to that point in the season now where I've been doing some thinking, I've been looking at things, and sadly for Andre Gomes, the time may be coming to an end for him. He is our weakest driver. And the fact that his morale is absolutely bottom at 0%, and that affects his driving performance even more, means he's actually a bit of a liability for the team. Now, I'm thinking that what I plan to do is bring in another good driver, and maybe just drop him to the reserve driver spot, and then once his contract expires, let him go. You know, let him go, let him go. Sorry for the Frozen there. I've never actually watched that film. Could you ever believe that? I've never ever watched it. Not a fan. However, I would at this moment in time love to build a snowman because it, again, is so freaking hot here in the UK. Here in England, where I live, in the Midlands, it is scorchio. It's like 30 degrees in the shade again. And that's just not normal for us here. It's supposed to be raining. Anyway, we go through, answer all the usual media questions, which, to be honest, I'm starting to find a little bit too repetitive. You know, I wish there was a bit more variety in the terms of questions. Every race, it seems to be the same. They try to, you know, put the cat amongst the pigeons amongst our drivers, and then start bringing in other drivers to try and, you know, cause some issues, and I don't want to do that, you know. So here we go. I'm going to do some more scouting, see if I can find another good young driver. Again, I want young drivers because, again, if I'm building a team for the long haul and building for the future, I want to get drivers in while they're young, you know. Whilst they're inexpensive, whilst they're not having too many demands on wages and bonuses and stuff, get them in the team, start to develop them like I'm the car, really. And then ultimately, one day, I hope it then pays off when we've got very good drivers in a very good car. We can be ultra competitive and win trophies, win races. Okay, it's Andre's birthday apparently. We could give Andre a sports car. Not that that's going to improve his morale at all in any way, shape or form. We've finished our scouting. Would be one of the very best drivers. Ooh. Slacker, nice girl, truck racing champion are her traits. The slacker bit is a bit of an issue. But some pretty good stats there, I have to say. She's got some pretty decent stats going. I could be running an all-female driver lineup. That would be a bit of a turn up, wouldn't it? You know? That, I wonder if that would do the team's marketability, you know, a huge boost as well. I'm wondering. You know, being the first team to run 2 female drivers, that's got to have some kind of marketing and sponsorship potential. We've got a politics vote coming up now, obviously, on the front wings and the option to make them non-spec, which means teams can develop their own. Again, for this racing series, I would rather have spec parts to keep the playing field a little bit more level whilst I'm in this position whereby I need to play a bit of catch-up on some of the other teams. So, I'm voting against any decision like this where they want to take parts that are spec parts and make them non-spec. I'm going to vote against. Any votes that come up where they want to take a part and make it a spec part, I will vote for. You know, that's just the way it goes. That's the way it's going to be. I want to try and make the performance in this division as, you know, even as possible. And so I don't have to spend quite as much money developing so many different parts. Okay, upgrade buildings. Is there anything I can build? Or anything I want to build? New buildings. I'm going to go for the helipad maybe. Now you see the helipad, it's cheap-ish. It has the potential to bring in 5-star sponsors, but it's going to probably be a while before my team's marketability is high enough to reap the benefit of that. But it's only going to take a couple of weeks to build the helipad. I'm also going to build the telemetry centre because I'm fed up with that. I'm fed up with my designer keep moaning at me in emails that we should have a telemetry centre. So I'm building you a telemetry centre, mate. Now you can be happy. You best make me some quality freaking gearboxes now then. After spending and investing so heavily. Right, let's have a look. Improve parts. Improve parts. Okay. Probably need to do the reliability on that set of brakes. And that set of that gearbox. Ah, the suspension as well. You know what? Not do the engines. The engines aren't so key because, of course, they've got their risk engines. I think one of them's very risky. I ain't never going to use that in a race. So developing the reliability on that isn't really a key thing. The parts I'm going to be using in races definitely need to work on. And yeah, let's bang up the reliability on those. Now we've got the British race though. British race coming up. Nice trip round Guildford, round Silverstone. That's going to be quite fun. Performance work is complete. That's good. Factory feedback. He wants an upgrade to the factory now. God, this guy doesn't want too much. First the telemetry centre. Now he wants me to upgrade the factory as well. Come on, man. Give it a rest. He's not that good. No. Keep scouting drivers. I've scouted some really good drivers, I think. So, here we go. Sponsors objective then. For the Guildford, top speed is going to be crucial. So, if it's top speed heavy circuit, with my vehicle's engines being very weak in this division, I am not going to go for a bold target. I'm going to go conservative, top 16. See how we go. I can't really add any new parts to the cars because nothing is going to be reliable enough. So yeah, unfortunately you don't get anything new for this race. So I don't really have any better reliable parts, so they're not going to get anything new on the cars for this race, which is going to be a bit of an issue, we have to admit. And I just backed out here. This, if you're wondering why the screen suddenly changed, I actually stopped filming at that point to pick up again for this episode. So I'm just having a quick look again at the scouting side of things, and then I'll be jumping straight back to the race. I'm just going to have a quick look at the different drivers. got a few. We've got a few drivers here and there. Scout, potentially. Eda, John's daughter. She's a paid driver, I believe. I'm going to scout her to double check, because it may be I end up signing someone like her if I can, because she's definitely wanting to leave the team she's at this season. So she could be a good sort of replacement for Gomes. There's a couple of other drivers I'm just going to scout as well. Because again, people say paid drivers are very important in Tier 3. They allow you to build up your finances. They offset a lot of your running costs, which is great news. Obviously, Lara is a great addition to the team because of that. It would be nice to have another paying driver in the mix, maybe. Because yeah, Gomes definitely needs to be replaced, and like I say, I think I actually figured out what's wrong with him. He's actually got a personality trait at the minute, because he had that, if you remember, he had that house fire thing pop up, that dilemma, and he lost everything, and that's affecting his morale. Basically, that's what's keeping his morale at zero, the fact that he had suffered this house fire and everything and lost all his possessions and belongings and everything. But that trait is going to stay on his record for 50 weeks. Well, that's going to affect him right through the second season at this point, and I can't afford to have him around for another season, another 10 races after this season, not delivering performances, not delivering results. Because of that, and that personality trait, that must have come from the Flaming Red Balance mod. Because I know he's tweaked things like that, where, traits and stuff that, the temporary have more of an effect, and a longer effect on drivers when they get awarded. But 50 weeks is a bit extreme, I think. So unfortunately, that's kind of ruined my plans to have the Gomes-Lara lineup for multiple seasons. But anyway, back to the British Grand Prix, back to Guildford. We are going to be running... so obviously a high-speed circuit, Silverstone. You want a bit of oversteer. You probably want a bit of rear wing, I would say. Rear wing is going to be useful for the high-speed corners. One of the things I'm going to potentially experiment with going forward when I do my car setups is changing the... is not keeping the front and rear wing the same. Like at the minute 15:25, I'm going to start again looking at the tracks and seeing if a track's got, a lot of slow speed corners, maybe run more front wing than rear wing. Seeing if that actually has an effect like it in theory should do on the car's performances and their lap times. Because again, here at Silverstone, there's a lot of high-speed corners. I would potentially be, if I was to employ this strategy at this point, I would be thinking more rear wing, a higher, and then maybe a lower rear wing angle, because there's not as many slow-speed corners, so don't need as much front downforce. And whether that would, see me performing better. No, don't. Yeah. I'm going to go soft, I think. We're going to work on the soft tyres, I think, for this race. They're going to give us durability, which again is going to let us do some fairly decent stints. Again, the great thing about this division, this championship, there's no qualifying, so you could spend your practice just purely focusing on your pit strategy, your race strategy. When they start throwing qualifying into the mix, then you've kind of got to split your practice time, because you've got to be working towards a qualifying trim for your car. so you can qualify in decent positions, which gives you obviously a better chance of getting a race result. And then you've got to also be working on your race trim and that, so your car is going to deliver in the races. So suddenly when you reach a division or a tier where you've got qualifying as well, suddenly then that becomes a bigger issue. You're setting up with your car and getting your running right. But at the moment I don't have to worry about that, because it's literally practice and race. So I can use the whole of the practice and use both cars purely to try and perfect my race trim and get the best performance I can for the race. I'm not having to split strategies. Laura's set the fastest first sector. I expected to. She's the first car out on the track. She's the first one that will get that opportunity. And now the other drivers who are out there will do the same. Come on, Gomes, pass this car. Come on. He's so tentative to put his foot down and go past cars. And that's got his morale doing that. So yeah, replacing him is going to be on the definitely happening. Sorry for Gomes fans out there who are watching the series. I need a driver who isn't a Sadact, a sad sacked, you know, sad sack. You know, he's got a. I need people who are happy to be racing and happy to be fighting for positions and moving up the table. So yeah, unfortunately, guys, Gomes is going to be a thing of the past. He's not going to get a second season as a main driver for my team. So, yeah, let's make a few adjustments to the setup. See, Laura's car, because of how badly our engines are, I've got to turn up the top speed. I've got to turn up the gear ratios to try and get the top speed I need for this circuit. That is, you know, that's pretty evident of how bad my car is for this circuit. Now I've made these changes, I've obviously got to wait for them to be implemented on the car. There we go. Laura's going to go out, followed by Gomes. See if it makes any difference. Probably won't do. I think some aspects of the racing simulation in this game are very well realised. Like you're saying, the setups probably don't quite follow true racing. Like I say, I'm probably thinking a little bit too in depth with car setups, and it probably doesn't really have the effect that I think it does on the actual game. You know, I'm thinking about making these decisions with front wings and rear wings, and people are probably going to tell me it makes absolutely no difference. The game's not that smart. Well, maybe it's true. Maybe the game isn't smart enough to be able to tell the difference. And what we got? We've got 7th and 9th in practice. On the soft tyre. That's pretty good going. That's pretty good. I can take that. I can take a midfield sort of position. That's encouraging for the race, I have to say. If I'm one of the faster teams on the soft compound tyres, which is pretty much what I'm going to be running for the majority of the race, then yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. So 5th and 9th actually, yeah. Very good result. And again, here we go. The social media messages, everybody's in love with me. Gomes seems to be happy about his weekend pace. Lara is definitely loving the awesome session. So yeah, we've had a good practice there. So we're looking in good shape for the race, which is going to happen in the next race. Slightly shorter episode this episode. I had a lot to go through. But thank you for watching. And of course, I will see you all again very soon. Remember to leave your likes. Leave your comments in the section below. Remember to subscribe. You're a great audience. Goodbye for now.